everyone, Penny here from That's Just Penny and the Junk Journal Ministry. Today I'm showing you how to put together the travel notebook size journal for the kit, Peter's Mother-in-Law, that goes with the Women of the Bible study series. Here I have the Traveler's Notebook size cover that I chose. I chose a denim one. I have a piece of just normal white cardstock and one of the prints from the scrapbook set. I printed that on regular copy paper, and then there's an 8.5 by 11 borderless printing. Here I have my glue wash, which is PVA glue, cosmetic alcohol, and then I have some distilled water. It makes a wonderful glue wash. I'm using a paintbrush from the Dollar Tree. I think it was like 3 brushes for $1 or something like that. So I'm using that. I like those brushes. I'm just brushing this glue wash on, and if your paper wrinkles up, then you have too much water in it. So if I have too much water in it, then I'll just add some more of my PVA glue. PVA glue is Elmer's Glue All, and also Eileen's Tacky Glue also is a PVA glue. Now, if you notice, I started from the left bottom corner and pushed up to the top right corner. That allows no wrinkles, no bubbles, and you can see that it's just a tad bit too wet, and I missed my corner over here, so I'm going to go back in with my paintbrush, and there's so much on there that it'll take care of that little corner. So I'm going to smooth this out. You can use a brayer if you want to, but I'm just going to use my fingers to make sure that it has the 2 pages have adhered together. Now I'm going to go get the TN sized cover page. I'm going to do the same thing to it. I'm going to add the glue wash to the back of it, minding the corners. I always miss the corners, so make sure you get your corners, and I'm going in one direction and then I'll go up on the edges in the other direction. Again, if your paper wrinkles up or if it gets too wet, it will start wrinkling and buckling and having creases. So if that happens with your glue wash, then just add some more PVA glue and it should fix it. So here again, I'm starting in the left corner, going up toward the right top corner, making sure that it is adhered. So this is a 3 layers that I have here for my cover. Now this is just considered more or less like a signature or a traveler's notebook type journal insert is what they call them. But I'm just making sure that my edges have enough glue on them so that they won't come up, because that is the edge of the journal. So I want to make sure that there is no lifting on any of the corners. I'm going to set this aside to dry, and then I'm going to pick up the traveler's notebook pages that are in the kit where you just print and cut. And then I have also printed some of the scrapbook papers that I will show you here. So I cut some of the scrapbook papers down to the size of the traveler notebook pages that was already pre-designed. So I cut those down. I just chose some of the lighter designs so that I can use these to write on. And I created 2 pages. I put 2 pages with the white sides together so that I could create pockets in each individual page. And I'm going to fold each individual page and then stick them together to make the insert. I couldn't find my bone folder, so I substituted for a popsicle stick. Here I am going through the pages and I'm matching the pages up so that I can have a design in the front, putting the 2 whites together so that I can create pockets in the journal once I put it together. So I'm going to fold and I'm going to crease each one of my pages. Now that I have all of my pages scored and folded, I am going to put all the pages together as a little insert, and I'm going to score it once more. I'm going to tap all the way around the pages so that I can have them flushed together, and now it comes to time to trim. I get right in the middle of the pages and I trim. I can also use the cutter, but I just didn't want to get it out. So I just decided to trim the best I could with my scissors. Now that I have the signature ready trimmed, I'm going to go ahead and trim the cover, trimming the cardstock off, and then you will see me distress. Now I gather my scoreboard and I'm going to find the middle, which is 4.5, but I'm going to come a quarter on the right side and a quarter on the left side and score 2 lines. I'm not going to score directly down the middle, but I am going to score just on the right side and on the left side of the center line. Now I'm going to take the cover and I'm going to make sure that my score lines are okay, and I'm going to lightly press. So the score line will be about 1/4 inch down on each side. So I'm just trying to get that score line creased. I'm not pressing too hard to where that it will break my cover, but I'm just pressing lightly to get that line to get a good crease to make about 1/4 inch spine. Now it's time to grab my thread, and my needle to put together the pages to the cover. I'm using an awl from Walmart. It does need sharpening and it does produce large holes, so I'd be really careful. And since it needs sharpening, it's really dull. So later on I'm going to take some some sandpaper and try to sharpen up the awl. Here I'm just poking a hole down about 1 inch on both sides, and what I'm poking into is the garden mat from the Dollar Tree. It's a knee pad for when you're in the garden. And I cut these up to make items for me to poke through. They make great stamp pads and things like that. So I'm turning it over to make sure that it didn't punch too big of holes, because this is a small journal signature insert, whatever you want to call it. So I'm making sure that the holes are not too big. I am going to later on distress those holes, but still I didn't want them too big to where that it could, cause ripping or tearing in the journal pages. Here I'm getting out my embroidery floss, and I am just getting the 6 strands. So I'm going to go 1, 2 length of the journal. If you had more than 2 holes, you will need to do 3 lengths of the size of your journal. But I only have 2 holes, so I'm only going to do 2 lengths of the size of my journal. I'm going to start by poking it from the inside out, making sure that I hold the string. I am using all 6 strands of this embroidery floss. If you would like to make it stronger and sturdier, you obviously can run it through a candle or beeswax. They make sewing wax as well that you could run your thread through, but for me, I don't do that a lot, because this is a small journal. It's more or less like a signature or a traveler's notebook size journal. So I am just using the ordinary embroidery floss 6 strands. I'm making sure that it's tight, but not too tight, because I don't want to rip my pages. Here I am trimming. Gonna save those trims for later, and I am just trying to crease this and make this softer, because there is 1/4 inch spine there that I want to make sure is rounded and not so square. I want to make sure that it fits well onto the pages and there's no gapping. Here, like I said before, I am distressing to making sure that those awl holes are not too big. And then here I am just, or not to be noticed, so here I am just going around again. I de-stress it several times throughout the process to make sure I get the look that I want. Now that I have the journal together, I have opened it up to the first page, and I have decided, since that I did, the white pages together so that I could do pockets, I'm going to show you several options that you can do if you do the method that I do. So I'm going to use my Eileen Tacky Glue. You can also use the glue wash, but I'm just going to make a pocket. I'm only going to glue this. I call this side B pocket, where you come in from the edge. It's just a page pocket, but I've decided to make it come on the edge. So that is the first pocket, only glued on the top and bottom sides. Here comes the middle of the next page, the second page. This is the middle. Okay, so now I decided to make a side A, or a top loading pocket. So I have glued on the edge right and then the bottom. So that makes a top loading pocket, which I call it top A pocket. I'm making sure, because this is liquid glue, I want to make sure that the glue, sometimes they'll dry, and whenever you close the journal, the pockets will be messed up. So I just wanted to show you the different styles of what you can do to those inner pages. I did this on purpose. So number one, I could have pockets. Number two, if I wanted to leave those just like that and do some journaling, then I could. So here I'm using the glue wash to actually make a solid one page. No pockets, no nothing, but one page. So that is a solid one page where I glued the two pages together. So number four, I'm going to set my glue brush aside. I'm going to grab some paper and my distressing ink. I always use coffee, or I use sepia, either one, but this one is coffee. So I'm just going to lay down some tea-dyed paper, any kind of paper, just so that I don't get the other pages messed up. But I'm just kind of distressing it. So if I want to write on it, or if I want to put paper over it, I can. This is the fourth idea of the way that I do it. So it just depends on what I want to do in the journal. So this gives you different options. And now number 5, I'm going to show you for the next one here. I'm going to show you about doing a page mat. So I'm going to use this tea-dyed paper that I just got done this week. I'm going to use my do-it-yourself ripper. This came from aluminum foil box. I do have a video if you're interested in learning about how I make those. There's several videos, but I do have one in case you want to see how I make mine. So it's nothing new. It's just a do-it-yourself tool, recycling from aluminum foil or plastic wrap. So now I'm going to create a pocket. I'm going to glue on just the 3 sides. I'm going to do Eileen's Tacky Glue, just a bead of glue around there, just to give it, just to give you some options. There's 5 options that you can do. And then I will do the same thing for the other side. Okay, so all done. So now I'm going to go back to the beginning and show you what we did. So option 1 was side B pocket. Option 2 was top loading A pocket, is what I call it. Top A pocket. Option number 3 is a single page. Option number 4 was distressing on those pages. And option number 5 was putting a page mat or page pocket on. So there are several options that you can do if you do this method that I have done, where you put the 2 white pages together so that you can create pockets. I'm just making sure that the one page there is secure so it doesn't pop open and I think it's a pocket or something. So again, here is side B pocket. And then I'm just showing you the cover, kind of creasing it, making sure that it's all together and it lines up. So here are the 2 items that I made for this printable kit of Peter's Mother-in-Law for the Women of the Bible Study series.
here is a quick flip through of the journal that I just got done completing, and I will complete the rest later. So here are the 2 items that I created. I hope you check out the links down below of how you can get this kit.